Got drinks, got smoke, got weed, got all the girls, got everything we need. And I see them all, but who brought the fat girl? Drink another, smoke another, get retarded. I know this where the party is, so get this bitch started. And if you want some liquor, girl, you can go and lick a girl. Get in it, pop till like 6 in the morning. Come break it down.
What's good? Like this, or you want to try?
This is good. This is good right here.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna start.
You look at the camera, right?
Look at the camera,
Okay.
dude. Look at the camera with your little water cup. You can hold your water.
Fucking galon right there. Fuck. You're one of those cats at the gym now, bro? Fucking galon with the fucking the whole galon and shit. No mames.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Daniel.
Daniel San.
Hey, what up,
Where you
though?
been at, Daniel?
Hanging out, dude. Going to school, hanging out. Mostly going to school and hanging out and working. That's it.
Two scoops,
and
coup.
That's it. That's it, dude.
All right, everybody, we've been on a long hiatus. We know we took like 6 months off, maybe more.
Was it 6
I don't
months?
know exactly. Yeah, because the
No.
last one was in
Really?
August.
3
I think the last podcast we did was in
Damn.
August.
August.
Mean vacation, huh?
Yeah, we took a mean
Yeah.
vacation.
Straight up.
Been doing a
Because
lot.
one thing was after another.
Yeah, just one thing after another started happening. You know, we got busy, couldn't do it, but here we are. We're back officially.
We didn't get busy. Life happened.
I don't know. Well,
Life always happens.
yeah, but
It's just busier.
we got to make time, you know?
That's right. That's right. Always, always.
Because I was listening to the fucking podcast with Shab and fucking, what's her name? Crystalia. And they were talking about, Shab was saying that basically the only reason he got into comedy was because he felt he could kick it with his friends. Because he wasn't really good at comedy, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said the
Did
only
he stop?
Wait,
Did he
who's
stop, did he
Brandon
stop doing
Schaub?
comedy?
yeah, he
Or-
stopped doing it.
Who's,
Oh, okay.
who's Brandon Schaub?
Brendan Schaub, he's a
He was
UFC
a
fighter.
fighter?
Yeah, he was a UFC
Okay,
fighter.
okay. He turned podcaster, or
and then he
okay.
tried comedy for a while, but comedy's hard, bro. You know, it's not for everybody. So, but
Yeah,
anyways,
but
he was
yeah.
talking that he did it because he thought it was like hanging out with his friends, you know, and then COVID hit. So now his like 1 hour podcast is him hanging out with the bros, right? Which is why
Yeah,
we
yeah,
started,
definitely.
right?
Mhm.
To fucking have
Yeah.
1 hour a week where we can talk about anything, communicate, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So we got to get back on it for that reason, you know?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
if not, we don't really talk, right? Only we see each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's talk. It's better to talk like this anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels a little more
Yeah.
personal as opposed to talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
Yeah.
we even when we hang out in person, you know, we try to have our own little conversations. They're usually, you know, a little different. But usually we don't. When we're together, we don't have just not always just us three. It's, you know, usually my mom and
Yeah.
my sister
Yeah.
and always our niece.
Yeah.
So family.
Everybody's
Yeah.
putting their 2 cents in.
Oh yeah, the crazy
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
lady squad.
yeah.
But let's see what happened. I got married. That's you know, why we start the
Ooh,
podcast to
tell
begin
us.
with.
Tell us.
We did do an episode in between, but the audio was way off, so we decided to throw it away. So that was like, I want to say a month ago, but here we are.
Yeah.
We got some new stuff. Daniel got some new hardware, so we're back. But yeah, I got married. You know, one thing I gotta say that I've learned from all this, you know, it's not even relationship wise. It's like wedding wise. It's don't let anybody bring you down on your day. Negativity, you know, if you didn't throw it the way they wanted you to throw it, or you wanted, you know, something they wanted and they got butthurt about it, you know, at the end of the day, I don't really care. My wife doesn't really care. It's about you. You know, that day was about us. It wasn't about if Daniel liked the food. It wasn't if, you know, if Yvonne didn't like the location. You know, it wasn't if my tia didn't like the dress. You know,
I didn't?
all that stuff. No, I'm just saying.
No,
I'm
I'm just
being
messing.
hypothetical. You know, we don't want to say no names of who did what, but yeah. At the,
You know who you are.
At the end of the day, it's about you two coming together and having your moment in your day. You know, and she was happy, I was happy, and that's all that mattered. You know, you go through that process, and we didn't even have a big wedding. You know, it wasn't crazy big. Like, you know, people have 100+ people weddings, spent thousands of dollars. You know, I didn't decide to go that route, and she was okay with it. We talked about it. You know, it was our decision together. It wasn't my decision. You know, somebody said that it was me making all the decisions. She was just riding along. It was me that made it more Mexican than, something else. And it was like, it really wasn't me. Like, it was all her. I just basically almost showed up. I did a couple of things with her, but it was all her ideas, all her process. And people are going to talk. At the end of the day, people are going to talk. They're not going to like this. They're not going to like that. But just make it about you. Don't worry about other
Always.
people. And that's what I have about that. Other than that, marriage has been great. It's been 6 months already. We're practically married already. We live together, and then
Cohabitation.
yeah, yeah. And then next news is, after we came back from our honeymoon, she wasn't feeling too well, so we went to a doctor. Well, actually, she took some tests, and it said positive. The first one I didn't believe it. You see it, and you're like,
And it wasn't COVID.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't COVID. You see the first one, you could be like, that could be, could be an error. Those little things aren't always right, but we did another one and said the same thing. So I was like, okay, well, let's go to a doctor before we get all excited, because I don't want to get all excited over something that doesn't really happen, right? And for females, it's worse, is because it's a baby. They're expecting a baby inside of them. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's wait it out before we get all serious. She was all happy jumping, and she's like, why aren't you so happy and jumping on me? Because I don't know. I don't know if it's for sure. I don't want to get my hopes up over something that might end up not happening. Then it gets worse. So, but
yeah. Well, that's why they tell you not to even tell anybody, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think until after the first trimester, I think they tell you not to tell anybody. But yeah, so basically we went to the doctor. You could see the little thing in there. It looked like a little peanut. So that peanut,
Young nut.
that peanut is healthy. It turned into something much bigger.
Your nut turned into a peanut.
My nut turned into a peanut. 5 months later, that peanut's the size of a freaking cantaloupe. So we're going. We're gonna have a baby girl. Found out it's a girl. I'm excited. That's a whole new chapter.
Super excited
of my life. We have a niece, but it's always not the same to be your daughter. But I learned a lot from having Julie, as we all did, I'm sure. Having a niece into our lives when it's mostly all dudes and just my sister, it brings a whole another world into it. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, it gives you a different perspective. It's a different perspective, and it's you see the circle of life highlighted. You come into this world shitting yourself, and then you leave this world shitting yourself if you live long enough.
That's what you took out of it.
Yeah, that's what tripped me out the most is that little child, and then you go the cycle of life. Because I think that death has always been an issue with me, and so I always think about that, like the cycle of life, and that's what they brought to me and highlighted the most is how you can literally programming a little computer, a little meat computer, and then you kind of give it like the do's and the don'ts, and that's a lot. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like having a niece changed you as a person, or do you feel like you're the same person and you're just going along with the new niece?
No, well, not just because of my niece, but seeing my niece, you could definitely use it as like a stepping stone, not a stepping stone, but something to keep you in check on how you're supposed to act, because there's something, especially if you hang out often.
Yeah, she's always looking at you.
The bad aspects in what you're doing are highlighted, because it's not like you can tell someone to do or not to do something. You just don't do it, or choose not to do it in front of them.
Yeah, I think that. What about you, Ivan? Look quiet over there.
I'm just thinking about the topic, but Julie definitely changed my perspective on kids and overall life in general. It made me want to be a better person. My certainly working on my mind still, but she certainly changed all that. My view on children, since we've had some trouble having them. I was kind of I wouldn't say not bitter, but kind of less empathetic to people and their kids, and their situations. But now with my sister, I kind of understand when she's having some trouble, with the baby and dealing with the stresses of that. But she's certainly brought a sunshine to my life. Every time I could be having the worst day, and I just see her, and
Yeah,
nothing,
it all
I,
changes.
it's inexplainable, and I'm not even a parent, but I just imagine, once I do become a parent.
I
So I'm certainly thankful and grateful for my brother. I'm gonna have another niece to take care of. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, what was that, Daniel?
people underestimate. What I also thought about Julius, people underestimate the. I don't know. It doesn't apply to all kids, and then all kids are different, but that they know a lot more, and they're aware of a lot more than what people give them credit for.
Oh
And
yes,
I was
definitely.
reading it in class. I was reading it in class, and I was reading the way that they develop cognitively, and I was like, maybe it won't be the same for all kids, but for the most part. If they're a healthy kid, they're aware of things pretty early on, and you could teach them a lot more than we limit ourselves in teaching a kid. I think that's the most important part.
They
You
just can't
know?
express themselves. But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
know what's going on
properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the
So
most part.
at the end of the day, you could use that to your advantage and develop the world around them so that they don't have trouble transitioning to the next part in their lives. Because sometimes you can see it in immigrant parents, that you come to the United States and you try to provide your kid for another life that you didn't have, but you overcompensate sometimes. And then it's like you shock a kid, or sometimes the kid gets shocked, something happens, dad, parents pass away, anything can happen, and then you're all of a sudden found in a shitty situation that you thought shit was all badass, wake up,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
And
know,
this, you know what,
and teach your kids.
the whole process of going through a pregnancy, it's really scary until the baby actually comes out and you see it crying and healthy. I've learned
Oh
that. I
yeah,
didn't
right.
think that before. Like I thought, like, you get her pregnant, you find out she's having a baby, and
No.
everything goes good, right? But then you go to the doctor for these small tests. Like we go to the doctor every 2 to 3 weeks to check on the baby, and then they do these tests, and they're like, "Oh, today we're going to test if she doesn't have a hole in her spine." Like some babies are born with a hole in their spine and they're affected. And I'm like, "What?" I'm
Damn.
like, so you're telling me right now we're just going to check right now to see if my baby has a hole, and I'm fucking crossing my fingers and praying to God that there's no hole in her spine, right?
Holy
So
shit, dude.
yeah, they pull out with stuff like that, and they're all nonchalant about it because they go through it. How many
Yeah.
how
That's
many
their job.
baby mamas do they go through, and they have to
And
tell them, go
it's
ahead.
like it's there's special cases, but they have to tell you so that you don't go in there thinking that everything's gonna be all right, and the next 9 months are just gonna be a breeze.
Yeah, and then we did a blood test, and then that blood test, it'll tell you if your kid has Down syndrome, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like that, they don't even tell you, but they give you a paper, and it says right there like Down syndrome and other stuff, and it says negative, and you're like, what the hell? Like you don't even tell me
The
that.
genes.
We were checking for this, it's just, but I guess that's all part of the process.
Yeah.
And I get scared every day, just like 2 weeks ago, she fell coming out of the shower and landed on her stomach, right? She went to the hospital and everything was good, but just moments like that, like, it scared the shit out of me, because I haven't even met her yet and there's still, you know, hopefully there isn't, I'm praying to God that everything goes good, but, there's people that have been through that have lost their kids before they came out, for accidents like that. So just like, I just want to put her in a bubble and fucking just leave her in
Yeah.
there until it's over,
Yeah.
and then we're like, okay, you can come out
Yeah.
now. But yeah, it's a scary process, man,
And even when she comes out of that, you know, there's a tendency of wanting to put her in a bubble, and all you can do is just there's some things that are out of our hands,
Oh yeah, we
and
just gotta,
we hope that we prepare our kids, to handle, because fuck, you
just
can't
handle,
protect everybody in any time.
yeah, life in
You know,
general. Because life, I mean,
it's tough.
oh yeah, if you don't,
It's
if your kids don't go through difficult things, through challenges, when they're older, when they're gonna go out to a world that does not give a shit, and they're gonna get a
oh,
rude awakening.
also like having to have the talk with your girls or the girls in your life about the males that exist, or predators, or people in general. You have
Hmm.
to explain that. I think that gives you a different perspective too, especially when you have a young girl or a baby girl. You have to explain to them um, things and how to behave and how people can behave towards them and all of that stuff, so that they know that to not step boundaries in relationships with other people, like another adult, you know, what another adult should be doing or shouldn't be doing, all that crazy
Yeah.
stuff that you have to tell or consider, you know, and that's a whole different perspective. That's what I
Yeah.
mean by the perspective part.
Yeah, no, it's crazy too because as men, we know more how men think, right? Our childhood, growing up, we're all around the guys. You know, guys are our friends. You know, we're more around guys than girls are around guys, so we know how guys can be. That's why, you know, the like a lot of girls ask me like, "Hey, do you think this guy likes me, or what should I, you know, what do you think about this guy?" Or, you know, they always ask you stuff like that because they know that we know more and we've been through it. So when you grow up and you see guys all like they're dogs, you know, not all of them. There's some good ones, you know. Don't say nothing. There's guys that go crazy as soon as they see a girl, they start barking and shit. So, you know, they do the whistle. They, hey, so those are kind of like the stuff that we want to warn our daughters about because we know exactly what the world is, right? We know a mom can't go and tell her like, oh, guys are this way and that way because she's only seen so much of it, you know. But we've written about guys are alive. We know what the predator looks like and how he acts and how he behaves and what he wants to do. Like I've seen that. I think Ivan shared it or somebody shared it. You know that there was a predator talking in prison or something, and he was saying that what he looks for is a weak dad. He looks for weak men in the household,
Relationships.
and that's the girl he's going to go for because the dad isn't really a protector. He ain't intimidated by the father. The father's just there, you know. He knows he can manipulate his way in, but when you got someone that's an alpha, you don't really want to fuck with him because you know where you're going to end up, right? So that makes a lot of sense.
Well, you know what? I fathers, you know, I'm not. They're there to be the example to their daughters. You know how she should be treated when she's older, and then you know that's exactly how she's gonna see how he treats her mom, and that's gonna play out later on in life, and he's gonna know. She's gonna know how to recognize the signs of of a bullshitter and a guy that definitely is interested in her and cares about her feelings, and that's what a dad is there for to teach her those signs, and so she doesn't go become a statistic,
Yeah.
having kids with the wrong guy, and then she fucking blame the guy, and then that sudden that cycle starts of the kid going through divorce and all that shit. So it's
What would you do? What would you do, Beto, if she's
Don't start
fast
your
forward
shit.
to fast forward to when she's 16 and she sneaks out of the window. She's smoking pot.
Smoking pot with Theo Daniel. Or...
Nah, what the hell,
That was
dude?
good.
Hell nah.
I hope not with Theo
Fuck,
Daniel.
dude. I
Hell
don't know.
nah, man.
I don't know. You know, I've thought about this a lot because I think I was talking to Dom the other day, and I was talking about
Yeah, she mentioned it. She
that-
mentioned it that she did something.
that no, not that she did something that the time
Incriminating.
the time when you were smoking pot at my mom's house, and I don't think it was Dom. I think it was somebody at work that I was talking to.
The
And I
time.
told her, the time that Daniel was smoking pot. This was way before, like
He's still
this
smoking.
was but this was when he was
Oh,
young.
Got
back.
you.
When he was
I
young,
was in high school.
Okay.
my mom didn't want it in the house.
When he was out of sorts.
and,
I was
and-
15.
yeah, and as a brother, you have boundaries, right? You have this boundary of
Yeah.
he's your brother, he's not your son. But then your mom is like, can you tell him something? Well, I can tell him. If he don't listen, then what's the next thing, right? And then I got a little physical with Daniel, and and then as but now I think about it, and I hate that part of it. I hate that I did that. I hate that I had to get to that because he's my brother and there's boundaries, right? So I was talking to the coworker about that's something that my relationship with Daniel, I know that he held some anger towards that, and I respect it because I should have never done it. It wasn't my part.
But it wasn't your fault though.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
At the same
That's
time,
his parents' fault.
Yeah.
And then that's what I understand. You understand later. Like even
Right.
with Julie, you have to, and with any kid or with any struggling young adult, you have to find ways to communicate. And sometimes all we had was the information before on how to deal with this, and then you deal with someone physically, and you might get what you want, but then you have all this the whole moral part of it, where
Right.
you had the
Yeah.
choice. You had the choice to do something creative and to discipline in a creative way. But at the end of the day, you weren't prepared to even begin to discipline anybody. You were just trying
Yeah,
to create order in the household
exactly.
where there is not
Oh,
weed was
or
prohibited. You know, it
yeah,
was obviously wrong. You know, if it's prohibited and someone doesn't pay rent or whatever, you know, you don't pay rent. You don't do all you need to do is go to high school. That's terrible,
yeah,
and you shouldn't be doing that. You know, and although I'm sure
yeah,
we've all met people who had parents who let them smoke weed in their house, you know, but
yeah.
that's
But
not that's not those aren't signs of someone who's gonna be someone that
but
you'd think would be successful or good habits to
yeah,
do.
but
You know,
if you have
that's
those
straight up.
if you have those serious talks with your kid, you know, those uncomfortable talks, they shouldn't have well enough. You know, kids are gonna fuck up. I mean, I get it, but they
yeah,
should have well enough judgment and understanding and be like, hey, if you fucking do that shit, they're gonna be consequences.
Yeah.
But again, they're gonna do what they want
But
regardless.
also
So
then comes the question,
Mhm.
it's like if a kid is doing something and like obviously we've all made mistakes when
Mhm.
we're young, but like how dude, it's real about getting caught up with cops on the street, and then you just fall into a cycle of participating in juvenile hall and shit like that.
oh
And
yeah,
sometimes
true.
it might even, I'm not saying, okay, it might even save a kid to just be like, all right, this might be a fucking phase where he's smoking pot and take the risk and let him. I'm saying in my head, I'm seeing why people would do it. And it's like,
Mhm.
and let him smoke weed at the house or whatever, because you run the risk of your kid going through the system and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do, you know.
Hmm.
And I think that's where like the dilemma comes in on how do you like that's a reality. I think that another fear that every parent goes through, especially going from junior high, because everything's the fucking no recess no more. All of a sudden, no
Yeah,
fucking recess, and then everybody's smoking weed and having sex. It's like it goes from 0 to 100 real quick, no
real quick.
recess, and then and
Damn,
then and then I just
I
like,
wasn't having weed or no sex. What the hell's going on? I missed the
dude, there
party.
was and
You
when I went
rookie.
to Wilson, in El
Wilson.
Centro, yeah, for eighth grade, um, and there was already people smoking weed in seventh grade, but it was something really taboo. I saw on
Jeez,
the side, like you'd have to
you pay
look for it,
attention.
and but yeah, there's all kinds of things, and then there's just some things you can't control. Like sometimes,
No,
like
Yeah,
how are you gonna control that? Maybe your kid smokes crack one day. I'm not saying that they are, but dude,
yeah,
it's like a lottery, bro. It's like a lottery sometimes.
yeah. Well,
Like who is my kid gonna be, or all
exactly.
you can do is just provide the best environment for your kid to thrive in.
Yeah, and taking it back to your question, I don't know. You know, I don't know what I'm gonna do at that point with just sneaks. I know. Well, I'm not gonna get her in trouble. How? I don't know. You know, I don't know what's gonna be her thing that I can take away from her, right? Her cell phone, or who knows what we can do at that time. But like you said, all I can do is try to raise her the best I can.
Yeah.
Be honest
Mm-hmm.
with her, let her know that this stuff is
Yeah.
out there.
Uh huh.
I know
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna try it if you want, um, and hope for the best. I don't know what instilled the fear in me. Like when I'm thinking back in high school, when we would ditch or we would end
Yeah.
up at
Me too.
somebody's house and the kids
Yeah.
would be smoking weed and drinking beers,
Hell
and
yeah.
I was just the one sitting down there. I was just looking around. They were doing their thing,
Yeah.
and then I would grab my backpack and leave after it was all done. But I was always so scared. What I was scared of, I don't know. Like there's just something instilled in me
Yes.
that this fear that I
What's instinct? I
yeah,
mean,
maybe
yeah.
maybe, but then you're saying like 50% of the humans don't have good instincts, but
Yeah.
because it's like
No,
I was scared, but the other six kids in the living room were scared. They were smoking like there was no tomorrow. They had no fear. They whatever happened
it
didn't.
has
No,
to do
go ahead, bro.
it has to do a lot with personality traits. That comes in a lot, because I mean, how open are you? How like it's also on your maybe your genetic composure and how often you're able to take risks. And
Yeah,
obviously the people who didn't take risks are surviving, but sometimes because you didn't take enough risk, you don't surviving. So there has to be a balance of risks, and some people are just really open and they're just really
yeah,
social and stuff, and other people are not. They're just really observant, and they're really like, I don't know, why would I take that stuff, and then become unconscious and not aware about where I'm at. Maybe
Yeah.
my parents are fucking, they really like, they're a certain way, they're really strict, and they're always trying to see because maybe they did it, or their brother wasn't a drug addict or something like that,
Yeah.
to
And
where
I,
you're just
I'm not
really
saying I didn't do it. I mean, I did smoke weed. Not crazy. It wasn't for me. It making me trip out and shit. Fucking see things and shit. See people that weren't there. Always thought.
The fuck kind of weed you smoking, bro? Jesus, I don't think that was
dude,
weed,
it
bro.
hits
That's just something
people
else.
like that. It really hits people like that.
Really?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Fuck.
one time I won't say her name,
Yeah.
but we were in a truck outside the house.
Say her name, huh?
Smoking, and I kept like
The
I think it was the electric box at the end of the block. I don't know, but I thought it was somebody like pointing at us, And I kept telling her, like, "Hey, they know,
I
they
know
know."
you're
She's
high.
like,
They know.
she was like, they don't know nothing. What are you talking about? I'm like, that guy over there, look, he's pointing at us. She's like, there's nobody over there. Stop.
that white guy, like an electric box, so
Yeah.
fucking.
She was like, stop. You're fucking making me nervous
starts
now. Like,
morphing.
Wow.
I'm like, let's go inside and shit. So we went inside. This was my brother was living in the back, and I went into his apartment and we sat there and,
The fuck.
and I turned on the TV. I don't know where you were at. Fuck. Well, anyways, I turned on the TV and watching
At the
Seinfeld.
club.
Ransacking my
I'm-
pad,
I'm watching Seinfeld and fucking
eating all the food and shit.
the fucking
Nice.
characters are coming out like in 3D, bro.
3D.
I swear, bro.
The
They're
fuck?
like outside of the TV.
I had that 3D the television, bro. Yeah, the guy had the goggles, bro.
You didn't tell me, fool. But fucking, I'm watching it. I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm tripping. I kept rubbing my eyes. And then like I started getting the heartbeats, like my heart started beating real
That's
fast.
over with, man.
And I'm
Call
like,
911.
Drop
I
it,
was like,
bro.
and I told her, I think I'm gonna die. My heart feels like it's coming out of my chest. And she was like, no,
You smoke
stop
good weed.
already. See, that's why I don't smoke with you. And I was like, dang. So then I just told her like, she's like, I think she said, I'm just gonna leave. So she left.
It's gonna leave. We're
And
getting turned off,
I
bro.
fucking died and shit right there. But I washed my face and I fucking laid on the couch and I just passed out and I ended up waking up like in the morning and shit. But that's why I don't smoke weed, bro. Hey,
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's that
or,
one.
fuck, I don't know
Wow.
what that was, but
That kush or what?
yeah.
was
But
like
what I
good
was trying to
time.
what I was trying to get to is that I was always a person when I would smoke it with people that I trusted around me. You know? Say
Yeah, that's also true. You gotta
say-
get to the
Well, that's my policy now.
because when I was thinking like if something went wrong and I was in the living room with these kids that I don't really know, I might know one, but I don't know the other six,
Yeah.
and something happens, like
Oh, they'll leave you there.
yeah, I don't think they're gonna fucking help or
Nope.
watch for me. They're just gonna
For the most part, they won't. They don't know
Yeah.
you know.
especially yeah.
ODs, worse shit. Yeah.
even
Oh,
if I mean that's the worst case scenario. But even if it wasn't an OD, it was just a bad trip,
right. Not even then.
I didn't want to be around people like that. I wanted
Yeah.
about people I could trust, people that would look out for me for my best interest. They'd be like, "Oh, hey, you all right, man? You're high, but I'll come down. Like chill out."
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
panic,
You just
know.
gotta eat
Yeah. So I did it
and
around
do
people
something
I could trust.
irrational.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Daniel
definitely
just did
another
it
thing.
anyway.
Like, hey, you're pro like weed exists.
Weed
Like, hey,
exists.
weed exists.
That's why I get my
Yeah,
stuff
some
from
people-
trusted sources.
Trusted sources.
Trusted sources.
Well, fucking back then, the trusted source was the guy down the block.
Even
No,
then,
no.
source.
it's just like even then, your first time is an intense. It's an intense
Oh, yeah.
experience.
Remember the first time I smoked the sativa? Oh, my mind went to a crate. It was pretty weird.
What do you mean weird though?
Yeah,
Mm,
it's odd. It's like even like it's like
Yeah,
it
I
gets
just-
psychedelic. It gets
Yeah, I just- I don't
psychedelic, and
know,
then
it's-
you start hallucinating. You know,
Hey, that's
like
probably
for
what
the
I
first
did too,
times,
then, I'm telling you, bro,
for
fucking
the first
Seinfeld was
times,
3D. Go ahead.
dude, for the first times, I would hear repeating like, dun 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 like an echo a lot. It was
mhm.
like something that I really felt whenever I would smoke weed at the first
Mhm.
time. Then it just goes away, and it doesn't get that intense anymore.
No.
But the first times, it's pretty intense. So I think you could really scare yourself or do.
Yeah, I think because I never did it so often, my body was never used to it. That every time I do it, it's just
Yeah,
like
you'd get those kinds of.
I'm tripping.
Some
Yeah.
people even go schizophrenic, man.
Hey,
Yeah, so there's
were you there?
It's
Dave?
some
No,
people go schizophrenic.
I don't know if you were there in Cancun. No, Was he? I know Ivan was.
Oh yeah. You,
Or you're
you,
just
you
licking
couldn't
us.
move, and you're
I
just
did, I
watching
was like,
the football
I
game.
I couldn't move, and I was watching the football game. I don't even know what the fuck I was watching at that point. I was just
Yeah.
watching.
I already know because I've been there,
It's
dude.
that
Too.
Maui
Where,
Wowie,
like,
bro.
you're just
was-
fucking. You're just like, okay, it's just so all the thoughts are so weird right now. I'm just gonna fucking
Just sit still and not move.
yeah.
That's the high right there.
Turn
Hell yeah,
into-
that's fucking can't even
Turn
move and
into the
shit.
football game.
Freaking Shade said she found out I was high because I told her to go get me a plate. I just didn't want to get up at that point.
Yeah,
I
because
was
you're just like
buzzing.
stuck.
I was like, if I get up, I'm gonna fall or something. Mom's gonna know.
Fuck. No, hey, I didn't know that. I didn't know shrooms make you feel like. Well, they do make you. Well, not drunk. I remember when I took them, I couldn't I had trouble walking.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh
Yeah. They
Fuck.
they
I
mess
had
with
to focus. I had to stop and
anything.
like.
Yeah. A lot
No
of things will
wonder.
mess with your motor functions for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. You're
Well, I'm
it's part of
assuming
the
if
body
it's a
high, they call it.
psychedelic, like you're not gonna be able to hear me.
Yeah.
Seeing
You're gonna have your motor functions.
No, but that
away.
didn't happen on Christmas. So I was fine. I was walking around,
Oh.
but this time around, I was like, "What the fuck?" I couldn't.
different kind of batch.
I was a two-step. I was two-stepping the wrong way. Nah, but it was for a little bit, then it just went away.
That's good.
But see, this is a reality to where your kid might be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck around and take some mushrooms or fuck around and take this, and all of a sudden you're fucking butt naked in a place because you
Nah,
took too
I
much.
try- I
too
try
much
to do
acid
all
or
that,
something,
yeah.
you know,
Try
you
to-
don't know. But I mean, that's the reality of things.
Right.
Sometimes you don't know what you're getting into, and then you're all of a sudden tripping out. Fucking
That's why you're supposed to be in the
Using this
mellow
stuff.
environment, in a happy place, and with people you trust.
When she turns 15, I'm gonna get Daniel to do a drug class 101. Drug class
oh,
101.
what the heck?
You want to stay away from these. Hit it with
Bang,
the ruler.
hit it with the ruler. Stay away.
Stay away from
These
the
okay. When
potentiality
you have a
of having-
job,
These okay.
the risk factor of having a good time and coming back pretty
I want a-
low.
I want a
Pretty low
PowerPoint
on
too,
these.
Danny. A good PowerPoint
Good PowerPoint.
with videos,
These
Consequences.
are no man's land. With a point of no return.
with graphic videos. They fucking traumatize them and shit. No, I ain't doing that shit.
Fucking
Fuck that.
with
Throw
the
one of
hole
those.
with the hole in the arm.
Nah.
You know when they're dead, when their
Oh,
skin
yeah,
starts to
fucking-
die.
What was that? Remember that they had it in Mexicali? Remember it was it ate your skin. Remember what was it?
Yeah.
Cocodril.
Well, it was just but it was just
No,
a
it
lot
was
of that
infection.
were, like infected.
Yeah,
it was infection. Yeah,
That's what it was.
that was more like a Russian thing.
Oh, geez.
It was like it was just people that just kept injecting,
And they
things
just went away,
just,
huh?
yeah. Well,
it was
Well, not when it went-
sensationalized, and it was like it was a sensationalized thing. It wasn't a big thing. Like it was just a media. It was just a media thing.
I think it was because it was the same thing that was in Miami that
Oh, I mean people like zombies or something
Yeah,
shit.
it made people
Oh,
like
gotcha,
zombies,
gotcha.
And they're like, oh, on the freeway, this homeless guy fucking attacked another guy and bit him in the neck. And
Oh
ate his
yeah,
skin.
remember
I
that?
remember shit like that all
What
the time.
the
with
yeah.
like
And you
That shit
don't
would
even
work.
know what it is. It's just like
People-
sometimes people like ingest drugs that they
We
don't
go
know where
psychotic,
they're coming
right?
from.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude, you could go psychotic, especially like imagine smoking. A lot of people smoke meth.
Oh,
That's like
Jesus.
meth is a pretty powerful amphetamine. So, amphetamines make you do weird things.
my boy could have
And-
just been hungry too. Fucking, you never know.
But that's how Tom
Hungry
Petty
for
died.
the
Remember
thirst,
Tom
that's
Petty from the Heartbreakers?
Really?
Well, he wanted pain pills, but he told his buddy, "Hey, go get some pain pills," but he got him
got
fentanyl.
fentanyl?
He didn't know and shit.
Yeah,
He fucking gave
Yeah.
him fentanyl. Yeah, I think
that's how Little Peep died. That's how a lot of people.
Yeah,
died.
several people.
Mac Miller,
Oh, yeah.
Mac Miller,
Mac Miller, yeah, he was like-
Prince. Prince died from fentanyl.
yeah.
Michael Jackson. Nah, he didn't have the trace. I don't know.
He ain't fucking all kinds of other shit, but
Yeah.
But
So
that was back when before it was cool though.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You don't
What's up?
have to be cool to be my.
We got
girl.
Enzo back too.
Enzo.
Enzo's out of
Enzo, tell
retirement.
him. Oh.
Enzo, you didn't connect Enzo's mic?
Wait, you gotta.
Can you hear me?
Nah.
Hello?
Okay, yeah. There you can. Go, get closer, get closer.
Glad to be back,
Get
man.
shy, bro. Look
There
at
you
him,
go.
he red,
Don't be
bro.
shy, Enzo. Get on the mic, dude.
No, man.
Red. He red.
Enzo.
He cheesing.
Enzo back. Does he got headphones
What's
and
up,
everything?
dude?
Can he hear us or no?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
He's got a whole
Oh, there you
setup.
go.
He's
See,
got his
man,
whole
where you been at,
headquarters
fool?
right
I'm
there.
telling you.
He's
have-
even got pens on his desk.
Fucking hiding in the
Taking
corner.
notes, man.
Yeah.
No more budget
Yeah.
cuts, huh? We can coming up here.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
That's what's
Enzo,
up.
great guy. knows his way around a computer sometimes.
Sometimes part time or what? Part time.
The
It's
technician.
all right, bro. Play as fuck
For real,
up.
for real.
So let's
IT.
catch up. You know, the peeps that are hearing us, let's catch up. You know, I got married. I had a kid. Ivan, what you been up to these last 6 months?
Well, some big life changes. I've been accepted to UNLV,
Oh,
so I start in the fall. Registered dietitian. I submitted my resignation last week. In the
Keto diet.
in the maintenance industry.
Busted in Antonio Brown, took his shirt off, said, "Fuck, I'm
Project
out."
property management is no more for me. Just it's just time for a change. It's time to follow my dreams. Do what I gotta do, and just that I wasn't gonna be one of these people just you not living their dreams or not at least attempting. I don't want to. I don't want to be that person at the end of my life, being what if if I fail, then I fail. Fuck it, but at least I tried.
Never.
So we made some changes in my
Never.
life, and positive changes, and and the blessing of our little niece coming in as well, and our niece now. So our family's getting closer, and it's only gonna get closer. So marriage is great. So we'll go from there.
I like that. UNLV, what's the mascot?
It's the Running Rebel.
Running Rebel.
Yeah, it's like a guy with a mustache.
Wow.
It's like Yosemite Sam and shit.
Yo,
On a budget.
UNLV. Somebody's going to college in our family.
That's right. Two scoop for coup coming through.
Well, Gina went to college. Oh, no, she went to
She went to
Little
dental
bit.
assistant school. Yeah.
That didn't work out.
That's all right. It's all right. It's a tough industry. It's not for everybody. No,
She's pulling our teeth instead of pulling.
right? And hair.
Nah, it's good though. That's good though, because she experienced a lot of life in LA. A lot of times we gotta do that. Whether it's school or not, like leaving El Centro, going to LA, fucking just fending on your own. You learn a lot.
And I hear it happens a lot. It happens more often than not. My boy Mike, who I work with, he has a degree as a pharmacist, and he's doing maintenance right now. And I asked him, "Hey, why aren't you doing that?" He said he didn't like it. He went to school for 6 years, and I guess it happens more often.
No
People
way.
go to school, they don't like what they do, and they do something else. So
Yeah.
so
Because at the end of the day, when you're 18 and get into high school, you don't really know what anything is.
no, you don't know what you want to do. Yeah,
Even if you say like, "Oh, I want to be a doctor," like, do you really know what being a doctor is?
Yeah.
Than what you see on TV or you read,
8 years of school.
You don't know what they go through on a daily basis, and once you get there, you're like, "Fuck, this wasn't for me," And fuck, you can't take those 6 years out of your life back. So what do you do?
Mhm.
All you can do now is do whatever you love, whatever you can.
Yeah.
Daniel, what you been up to?
I have been going to school, and I finished. Things got pretty intense by the winter semester. There were two classes. It was a bunch of work. It was a lot of work, but now I put in my petitions to graduate and everything.
Ooh.
So I have to put in my counselor has to put in petitions for me to graduate, so that they know they kind of have to give out these degrees to these people. So I'm in line for that. I have all that set up. I'm already I'm trying to enroll, in the process of enrolling to San Diego State here in Calexico at the Imperial Valley campus.
Okay.
And
Right on.
hopefully I have a 3.8 GPA, and if I continue going good, I might graduate with a really high GPA.
Oh yeah,
And
get that.
and it might be on the it's really good right now, and I'm on the road for four degrees, one certificate, and then the rest behavioral sciences, and then and sociology and psychology. And I'll be going to psychology in San Diego State. So it's fun. I'm finishing up the semester, and it's been good. That's where all of my time has been going. And
That's good.
As it should.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and so that and just hitting the gym, but mostly I think the highlight of my life has been school, and going in there with the attitude that I have been going in. It's really fun to just accept what you're learning and to apply it to all aspects of your life,
Yeah.
because you don't just use that stuff in just one aspect. You learn about yourself a lot in a math class, even if you don't use that, and you learn that you can keep going. A lot of things, when you challenge yourself to different things, you can learn that you can continue going, and things aren't that hard, and everybody can understand things if you sit down and you give yourself the time to understand things.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
got a
what
question.
it's- what's up.
So what changed? Not, I mean, I don't know if something changed, or did you always like school like that? Like, or did
Yeah.
something change? Like, because when
Yes.
you got out of
I
high
like
school,
I like learning. I always liked learning, but I couldn't keep up with the rest of the kids because I
okay,
didn't understand what they were saying and what was being described, and I needed a moment longer.
yeah,
All the time, I needed a moment longer to understand things and to learn. I took longer to learn, especially for math. It wasn't my
yeah,
good. It wasn't my forte. What do they say? It wasn't
uh,
what I was good at. But all I needed was to practice and to get good at it. But I wasn't excited about it.
yeah,
I just wasn't excited about anything because
Excuse me.
it wasn't interesting to me. And it could have been a learning disability, and it also could have been what's going on at your house at the same time.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't want,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
think it was
care
more of
about
that.
school. Yeah, so it's like a lot of kids have abilities, and a lot of times learning disabilities or things like that can go wrong because, let's say you get in a fight with your mom, you're going into 7th grade, 8th grade, and you're yelling, you're going back and forth with your mom, and then you go into a fucking morning math class after you just had a discussion with your
Yeah, you're not
parents,
gonna learn anything.
whatever the case. Yeah,
No.
so it was a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay,
I could do it, but I didn't know how to reward myself properly. Yeah, I think that's the thing for me because I get uninterested in things really quick. So I
yeah,
have to reward myself, and I had to, even right now, I think I barely started realizing how to teach myself better and know myself better after my second year in school when I was like serious. Because then you start to notice your own patterns on how you can study and how you can learn information and how what's the best way that you can digest information so that you're not
mhm,
going through college or doing school just to pass.
okay. That's it.
Because I see it a lot. I see it a lot, and if that's not what you want to be doing, well, fuck, dude, it's a long fucking road of
Yeah,
having to sit there and pretend that you like something. Because
yeah,
all of my classes are psychology, so I can't imagine being there and not liking that stuff,
yeah,
not liking psychology. But what changed in me was the environment. I have my own environment now, and I could practice and I could study and I could just read things, and I have a great environment, a good relationship with my family.
there you
That's what
go.
changed the most. A good relationship with my family and my environment, you know.
Beautiful.
And I read it in the I was reading about, I'm in a social psychology class, and we're learning about how other people affect the individual person and how society affects us. And it was it was a full circle when it said that to better yourself or to change who you are, you can change yourself, and you're always adaptable. There's your personality isn't there's a traits that are true to you, but you can change the way you are by changing your social environment, and you could rewire your brain and rewire yourself and get your brain organized so that you can start to function a little bit better. I obviously was ran into a lot of things, and it's been a long 2 years, and I'm barely at my associates, gonna get some associates, but it's crazy to be have the grades that I have and
It's
to be on the road.
like I say, it's not a
I had a
race, you know.
1.45 GPA, and then I have all A's in the classes now that I
That's
need.
good.
Yeah, to be thriving
And
from where
so
you came is
yeah,
positive. So
yeah, but it's not the case for everybody, and it takes a lot to not want to suffer anymore as much as you were suffering before.
yeah, yeah. I
You
feel you.
know,
I'm gonna be
it's good.
I'm gonna be a little hard on myself right now because how I asked you like what changed. Shade, told me something, and I took it personal. I know she didn't mean it in a bad way, and it was really positive for me. But when it came out, I took it like, oh dang, like that's true. When someone tells you something that's true, it kind of hits you in the face, and you don't know how to take it. But she said, when we stopped the podcast, she was like, "Oh, you guys aren't gonna do the podcast no more. You quit a lot of things in your life. You quit selling shoes when you started. You quit being a DJ. You know, you had your clothing brand, whatever." And I took that real personally, because I don't want to be that person. And I sat there and I thought, like after she left, like I sat there and I thought, and I was like, fuck, that's true. Whenever something doesn't turn out the way I thought it was gonna turn out, I fucking just
Yeah.
give up and I let it go. And that's why I decided to get the shit up today and fucking do it, because I was like, that's it. I can't do that shit. Like, especially having a daughter now, I can't show her that that's something that you do, right? You don't give up on stuff
Yeah.
because it gets hard or it's just not going the way you thought it was.
Yeah.
My like Ivan said, he's gonna fucking go to school because he wants to be a fitness instructor. That's what he
A
loves,
dietitian.
the dietitian. And if he fails, then fuck it. He tried, but he failed.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as I saw that I was gonna fail, I stopped. That's what it was. It wasn't that I actually failed. It was as soon as I thought I was gonna fail, I stopped
Mhm.
because I didn't want to fail. That's the fear. Um, so she said it. I took it the wrong way that moment. I thought about it and I was like, fuck, it makes sense. I did quit a lot of
Can
shit.
I
Go
can I
ahead, go ahead.
chime in?
Go ahead.
That's the I was reading about it in the book. It's called self-handicapping. And self-handicapping is a term that people use because you will people tend to do this. I'll drink before a test, or I won't study before a test, and I'll fail that test. I'm not failing, but it helps me accept that because I'm not failing it because I was doing it normally. No, I could blame it on the fact that I was drinking. I can blame it on the fact that I did something. Therefore, it's better than failing in my own head. I failed not because I stopped, not because it was a bad podcast. I failed not because it was a terrible show, but I failed because I stopped.
Yeah.
And that's better than failing to our ego. And it
You-
fucking hit me.
You're
And I was
fucking
like,
right.
what?
You're
I
fucking
was like,
100%
terrible that I had
right.
to fucking pay hundreds of dollars to fucking learn this shit in the book. It's
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
But
But it rang really true. I was like,
yeah.
so many times that I preferred, going back to the school part, I preferred not to participate. I didn't want to try extra harder because this world, if you have a disability or something that holds you back, you have to try harder. You have to
Yeah.
compensate. And so I didn't want to compensate, and I didn't find ways to compensate. So then I was stuck and I was handicapping myself. So I said, well, I didn't go do good in school because I just didn't try it, and that's just not for me. And yeah, and I just convinced myself, without actually giving it a try, like how I have been giving it, being
Yeah.
open to everything.
Yeah.
But handicapping, and it was an interesting thing to learn about.
Yeah, and I can see that too, handicapping, whether, you know, I was handicapping myself in the sense that, Daniel couldn't do the podcast today, so let's not do it,
Yeah.
when it could have
Yeah.
just been like, you know what, me and my brother will sit here and talk, and Daniel could join us next week, but I took that as we'll just do it next week. And then, we'll just do it next week. And it's all right, and that's not how it should be, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm here.
But
That's why we're back. We're going to fix it.
like
Go ahead.
like everything starts, the hardest part of any essay or anything is starting it. But once you start it, then you can add to it. But if you don't
Hmm.
start, you can't add to anything. And if you don't do anything, then you can't add to anything. But you just have to let go of what you expect it to be and just let it be. Because I had struggled with even living and existing. I want it to be something that it's not, and therefore I'm not letting it grow into whatever it needs to be or whatever it's gonna be. You know,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
like it's like if you're making a beat. Enzo likes to make beats. You can't make the beat something different if you don't start on the chords. If you don't start laying out the beat, it might be even shitty. It might be a shitty beat, and you might have
Yeah.
to throw the beat or never use the beat
Yeah.
ever again. But
Yeah.
you have an idea of where you need to go after that. And that's a
Yeah.
lot better
Yeah.
than not knowing anything and not fucking doing shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Enzo on
Not
the
learning
beat.
anything. Cause fucking time's gonna pass either way. And that's why I got started in school too. Cause time's gonna pass either way. Might as well do something. If I like to do something, I'm good at pattern recognition. So I think
Yeah.
I could help people out of notice their own patterns in their own life, and to kind of avoid those patterns that cause them un malestar,
Yeah.
being bad or feeling bad inside. Because sometimes we need help to recognize our own patterns on what's causing us to be not like what's holding us back from being successful. And all you have to look at is your own patterns, and they'll show you, and
Yeah.
just be aware of your own patterns. sometimes like I saw something on social media that said, if you don't like how things are right now, figure out what you're putting out, and that being your thoughts. Analyze what you're putting out, and that's what you're going to be receiving, because you can't exist somewhere if that's not your reality. And if your reality is positive, then, and if your mindset is positive, and you're willing to learn and to keep going, then things are going to be a lot easier than heavier.
Yeah, I feel you. Good stuff. I got lost in the sauce, but I'm back. Enzo, what's up? What you been up to, Enzo?
No, man, doing the same old, just trying to keep focused with music, trying not
Hey.
to give up.
Tell him. Okay, I really want to shed light on,
also-
and if there's anybody or any young people that listen and are interested in making music, this is someone who I've known that did practice music when I was doing music or recording lyrics and stuff like that, and he was someone participating in the local music scene and experiencing the reality. How has it been you experiencing the reality of making music and the industry of anything when you regard it as a business? Because I read something on the book on how
it's like a slap in the face, because you think like a lot of people are out, are willing to help, but it's the
They're
quite
not.
opposite. A lot of people are out to
Yeah.
get you and like steal from you.
can you get closer?
Get a little closer to the mic, Enzo.
Yeah. Nice.
That's why, like,
Nice.
it's you got to be really professional and invest in yourself, as far as like with lawyers, investing in your own name and your own brand. So no, like, because I mean, a lot of people will steal your music and they'll
Fuck
label it
yeah.
as their own and start like benefiting off of it,
Dude.
Yeah.
and they'll leave you out the picture.
Damn.
Like tell him like there's always instances where Enzo has beats and people are using them, and I was like, hey bro, what can you do? What can you do
Yeah,
at that
especially
point
when you're
if
barely
you see it in the
starting, right?
wild on Instagram
Yeah.
too? Like, how do you know that we're releasing this video and people are gonna freaking use AI over it and do something nefarious?
Well, like
Yeah.
nowadays,
Yeah.
you could pay for services that detect your beats in music, and when people use them without your like
Consent?
without paying,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah?
or without your consent.
Okay, see.
So it is ways now to track your music, but like I said, you have to invest in yourself. You have to pay for the monthly services.
Yeah.
But also, like, let's say you pay for a collab with a big producer and it gets placed with somebody big. A lot of the times they'll leave you out of the splits because you're not like as established as a producer as them.
Exactly.
Oh.
They take advantage of you that you
Yeah.
don't have the resources.
Exactly.
So-
That's why it's important to like
What would be your
stay
options?
persistent.
To get a lawyer, basically?
Yeah.
Like a music lawyer,
Yeah.
and to
that
get
sounds
your money back.
expensive. That's
Yeah,
good.
sometimes, I
it's,
mean,
it's a
yeah.
ruthless world out there, especially in business.
Yeah.
But that's how people know you're serious. Like if you send them like a fucking cease and desist, they know you're about it.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we're gonna add this motherfucker to the split sheets next time because he's really about his money.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to like have those type of resources as a producer or musician.
Yeah. Now you
So-
start seeing the broader perspective on how things work, because now, I mean, as a producer, do you think that you have to be multiple things? You have to be talented in graphic design. You have to be talented in video editing. You
Yeah,
know? What do you
because
think
if you're
about
not big, if you don't have a team, like you have to do it all yourself. So you have
Yeah.
to learn how to edit, learn
And-
the algorithms on Instagram
that? And how do you
and TikTok and shit.
how has it been? You have been working and you have placements with actual really good rappers who I enjoy to listen to, and it's not just like child's play, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And how do you feel now? How has that changed into working now locally and working with your community,
Well,
and your outlook on working locally, and how have you moved differently since realizing how things are locally?
I started working locally because I felt like it was kind of selfish of me just trying to get placements with bigger artists when you
Yeah.
could discover somebody from the valley that's just as good,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, all it takes is just like consistency with the person that you're working with. And also like just looking like scouting, I guess. Like, oh, I like how this guy raps. I'm gonna send him a pack free of charge. Just
Nice.
because I know
Okay.
he raps good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I know he's
okay.
gonna drop some shit on my beat. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, and it could be like an opportunity for
Okay.
both of us. Like,
yeah.
Here's the question. Dude, this dude's always been shy, and
Yeah.
how has being a shy person and being a shy producer translated on changing how you are as your personality, because that's also something that you don't think about. You have to change who you are if you want to continue change who you are, in the fact that you got to network with people and
Right.
you got to talk to people, and you're not comfortable with doing that, but that's what's impeding you from your dream. So how do you feel that has changed you in ways in your personality wise, being shy and everything?
Well, for sure, it's kind of made me more outgoing in the sense where I'll like reach out first. I don't wait for people to message me for a beat
Yeah.
because that's like half of it. You know, obviously it's like 50% knowing how to make a beat and knowing the hardware and stuff, and then it's 50% networking.
It's
Mhm.
initiative. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't expect people to find you just out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
is miracle stories where people just find you, but it's like you have to be a fucking golden child. You have to like really like the next Dr. Dre for somebody to find you.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel you on that.
But
That's
that's
good.
why you gotta be like always pushing your music out. At least for me, that's what's worked.
Yeah.
Like learning the algorithms and stuff.
That's good shit. Keep doing it. I'm
Yeah,
still waiting for our intro, fucking Enzo.
Oh, really? You do sound much better though. You sound a little sadder before, but you sound much better now. I like that. I like that enthusiasm.
You got
Enzo
you got a girlfriend,
getting
dude.
it. You got a girlfriend?
Oh, that's what
You
happened.
got a
All
girlfriend,
You
man.
washing your balls, bro?
Oh,
She wash
yes,
that
sir.
ass too,
Yes,
bro.
got it.
Nasty.
Finally.
Lovely.
That's what changed. Okay.
There you go.
Shoot, about time.
Yeah,
You got
I
that
also have it.
in-house, you know it.
Mm,
That's right.
Yes, sir. In house.
There you go, bro.
All right.
In-house sauce.
Before we get out of here, any current events we want to drop?
Oh yeah.
So
Current events.
So meanwhile, you set that up. I got the. Did you? I know Ivan saw. I don't know if Daniel saw. I don't know if Enzo saw it, but the Davis fight yesterday.
I did not watch it.
You did not
I
watch it?
watched it today.
Okay, well that doesn't do us any good now. Enzo, did you watch it?
No,
No,
I don't
he
watch.
doesn't watch
I
that.
heard about it.
It's WWE
I
basically.
don't watch
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, I guess I'm
No
the only
fights.
boxing fan here, huh?
No,
All right.
don't trade.
So
How'd it work?
basically, it was a good fight. Back and forth, it was a good fight. It was a close fight. In one of the rounds, Davis got punched with a jab. He took a knee. He turned around, got up, went to his corner, and said, "Wipe my eye. I got something in my eye." So nowhere in me working with professional boxers, as I did when I worked with Sergio Martinez, watching boxing or anything I've dealt with boxing, are you able to just take a knee when you want, and it's not called a knockdown, right? So that's a big issue for me because boxing to me was always legit. I know they throw a lot of jabs at Canelo, Mayweather, high price fighting boxers.
Should have been a knockdown, yeah.
Yeah, that have gotten away with stuff. Whether it was a close fight and they gave it to Canelo. Whether it was a close fight and they gave it to Mayweather, stuff like that. I didn't believe all the hype, but this yesterday was like, okay, you guys have a star. You don't want him to lose his O. So let's just make this nonsense rule and be like, oh no, he told the ref he took a knee. The ref okayed it. He had something in his eye. Supposedly he had grease from his braids. They had just braided his hair, so grease was in there. But that's a personal issue that when you go into boxing, people don't put gel in their hair for a reason because you're gonna sweat. Sweat goes into your eyes. It's gonna burn.
Mhm.
So why do that? So he decided to
and
do
if
his
that's
thing
what we risk.
and put wax in his eye. That's a risk he's taking by doing that, right? So when you take a knee, you're saying something's bothering you, something's hurting you, and that should be a point. There was no point deducted. They just continued it, and it was a draw. And he would have won by that 1 point. Now,
No, I'm sorry. It should have been considered a knockdown, which would have deducted a point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he would have won the fight.
That would have been 10-8 round.
Whether it was still a close fight either way, but what's right is right, And I don't know. That's just how I felt about that. They need to run it like it is and stop with all the BS. Because if not, boxing is going to lose its fucking course. And UFC, which is already
It's on its
fucking
way out,
right,
dude.
where UFC is right on the brink, it's like right there. So they got to do something.
My
about
friend pointed that out. He said, "Look, at least there's robberies, or this is still like a reality TV show, but at least you have fighters all the time. You have good fighters. You sound putazos, dude. Like
Yeah.
and they're good, and they have a lot of good main fighters right now. Whereas to boxing, it's like people are getting tired of that whole like soccer vibe, where it's like you get a foul and you fly over,
You're flopping.
or the federation itself is just a bit too focused on the money.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think the money in itself took over the sport, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all great.
Because I see what UFC does, and I don't agree with it, but I see their method of paying fighters, a certain amount of money, and only the prize fighters get money, but it's still not Canelo money. It's still not Mayweather money.
no,
We're talking
Yeah.
about $14 million a fight that they're getting. Not in UFC, 2, 3, maybe. So as a boxer, as you see that, and you're making top dollar, you don't put yourself in dangerous situations no more.
yeah,
Unless it's fucking top dollar, And the odds are it's not going to be top dollar because the fighter you're fighting is barely coming up and doesn't have a name for him, but he's dangerous, So why put myself in that position? And I think they forget. I mean, I was never a professional fighter, so I can't say, this is how I would do it. But you got into fighting for a reason. And I don't think 90% of the fighters got in there for the money. They got in there because they love fighting. They wanted to be the best and they wanted to beat the best. And that's the issue we're having right now with them. They don't want to fight the best. They don't want to show they want to be the best. They want to be the fucking millionaires. And that's
They're businessmen.
yeah,
They're not
and
boxers.
that-
They're businessmen.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to leave that. We'll get more into that later on. But yeah.
Maybe a little rant or what?
Yeah, a little rant. Any current events? Daniel, nothing? Got nothing?
yeah.
Just a couple real
The meeting with Zelensky, the president had with Zelensky, and I think that a lot of people forget that Donald Trump was a reality TV show, and I feel like it was just it was good for business. America loves that, and I think everybody loves a little drama, and I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, and when you see stuff like that, like you said, you see that
Don't
Trump
get too serious.
Trump was a businessman, and he was he
Yeah,
had a
of
show and
course.
everything, and you could see that because I mean, I don't know. I think there should be more respect in meetings like that.
Yeah,
There should be. You should wear a fucking suit to the Oval Office. I mean, you're meeting the president of the United States. You know what I mean? Have some class.
bow down.
But
No, wait. I mean, look.
Broke
I
ass.
get, I get
He's all
the-
asking
the
money,
suit
bro.
thing, your
Asking
your,
for money,
your
man.
business, but
Kiss
at the
ring.
same time, if he's not that person, he's not going to be that person.
No, but he has worn suits. Like he has been like that.
Yeah.
Saw
So
some-
Yeah,
you,
we-
you feel he did it out of disrespect? You feel like he
Yeah.
personally said, "I'm going to go dressed in a
Yeah, he went. I mean, that's just the way
Yeah.
There apparently he called him a bitch in Ukrainian. There's more to the story. Apparently, that's why he called the vice president. He mumbled bitch, but in Ukrainian.
Dance.
Yeah. So that's why Trump fucking kicked him out. I don't know, but
Well, we got to see the whole thing, and they got to.
But see,
Yeah.
they're bringing us up more things. It's like, do we really want free speech or what's going on here? Because everybody's free to call whoever's a bitch. I don't know.
Yeah,
But also, if you're asking for money or
come on, yeah, you can't be, hey, can I get some money to save the war? And you be like, bitch, you know what I mean? Like
Can I
that
get
doesn't
some-
work like that. You know?
Can I
You
get
gotta,
some-
hey,
Use the money,
please.
So
Can you say
I
please?
can film it. Like when a baby wants the titi, so I'll film my shit up. Bitch ass.
And then you say, no, I hate you. And then,
Yeah.
can I have a DD? Can I have a DD again? Like, come on.
It's like when they give a bum a sandwich and he said, "I don't want a sandwich. I want $5." Throw a sandwich. At
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Like,
You see, yeah.
fuck. Disrespect me like that.
Look at him get you beat down.
I don't know, but
free.
without the
For
help
free.
of the U.S., I don't know what Ukraine's gonna do. To be honest, so
Mm.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
we'll see.
Tough titty.
Stay tuned.
Said the kitty.
Stay tuned. Anything else, Daniel?
Nah, that was it.
That was it. Ivan, you got anything?
No current events.
No, nothing.
Let's see. What about Vegas? Current events in Vegas? Nah, crime as usual.
Some fucking nut show.
I was
Yeah,
at
it's
the, I
a
was at the
nutshell,
fair.
Grammy.
I was at the
Oh.
fair and I was like really I had gotten some bracelets and then I went in the rides and I was being like pretty Grinch about it. And then like after I just finally broke and I was like, damn, this shit's fun as fuck, man. I was like, I'm having
you
a
go.
good time. Generally, I'm not mad at all. I bought
Good
these
for you.
things because I was like, hell yeah, dude, I really liked it. I just couldn't get on the ride that I wanted to get on because it was no single riders and
You
my
weren't tall enough,
girlfriend's
bro.
terrified of it.
Yeah.
Nah,
You're a bastard.
I
Should've
was
got on
cool.
with
I was
Enzo, should've
cool
taken
and I was
Enzo's
real
side.
enough too.
bro.
Sit on Enzo's lap and get on the
I
ride.
was
That
really
Chilo
enough.
invite, bro. I get that sweet invite.
Yeah.
It's all right next time.
Enzo, yes, son.
Enzo.
Zapatay.
Enzo on the beat,
Sit
hope.
on my lap.
Sit on my lap.
On that.
Ride this thing.
Gary?
All right, we're gonna have some more current events. Next time we're gonna do this every Sunday. We're gonna meet
And
up.
we're gonna be on the lookout for people to come fucking do flips on the podcast. Some man,
That's
so
right.
fucking some fire breathing in the room,
We'll
man.
have fart competitions.
Throwing
We'll
up
do it all.
We're
fucking
gonna have a fucking guy bring
backflips,
some
everything,
dodges,
man.
and do some
Have-
tricks.
Have the local bum come sip a 40 right here.
The local
Tell me.
bum.
We're gonna have Jimmy Jill come and install the fucking receptacle socket on the fucking podcast and shit.
Hey.
Backwards,
Backwards.
and then get mad at you about it.
No, for sure. I do have somebody in mind. I'm gonna get in contact with them. I think it'd be a pretty good conversation. So we'll let you guys know. We'll keep you tuned.
Okay,
And
All right.
thank you, Daniel. See you next Sunday.
that's right. I'll see
Pleasure.
you on Friday night, bro.
Oh, we're out. Peace.
Pleasure.
All right, love you guys.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.
Got drinks, got smoke, got weed, got all the girls, got everything we need. And I see them all, but who brought the fat? Drink another, smoke another, get retarded. I know this where the party is, so get this bitch started. And if you want some liquor, girl, you can go and lick a girl. Get it poppin' till like 6 in the morning. I break it down.